global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. A lot of reactions have trailed the state of emergency declaration made by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, the likes of Martin Emefiele have written to their constituency. Subsequent video will give you update on that. And of course, the former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Body George, have also spoken, but this time around is condemning the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State. He just actually believes that it's actually blatant disregard for constituted authority. But something unique is happening. The NBA literally is telling Nigerians their standpoint and what the constitution says about the declaration of state of emergency being done in Rivers State. But before we go to the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel. Now, the Nigerian Bar Association has taken due notice of the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as contained in his address to the nation on the 18th day of March 2025. Now, this declaration, according to the president, is due to the prevailing political tension in the state and due to the vandalization of pipelines between yesterday and today. This development has far-reaching constitutional and democratic implications, particularly in light of the provision of Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, which governs the procedure for the proclamation of a state of emergency, which the President purported to have relied upon. Now, Section 305 of the Constitution indeed vests the President with the power to declare state of emergency. The section stipulates strict conditions and procedural safeguards that must be followed to ensure that such extraordinary measures do not infringe on democratic governance and fundamental human rights. Now, the NBA is gravely concerned about the purported suspension by the President of the Governor of Rivers State, the Deputy Governor, and the members of Rivers State House of Assembly for 6 months. The 1999 Constitution does not grant the President the power to remove an elected governor, deputy governor, or members of his state legislature under the guise of a state of emergency. Rather, the Constitution provides clear procedures for the removal of a governor and a deputy as per Section 188. Similarly, the removal of the members of the House of Assembly and dissolution of Parliament is governed by the constitutional provisions and electoral laws, none of which appears to have been adhered to in the present circumstances. A declaration of emergency does not automatically dissolve or suspend elected state government. The Constitution does not empower the President to unilaterally remove or replace elected officials. Such actions amount to an unconstitutional usurpation of power and a fundamental breach of Nigerian federal structure. The NBA firmly asserts that the situation in Rivers State, though politically tense, does not meet the constitutional threshold for the removal of elected officials. For a state of emergency to be declared, Section 305, subsection 3 of the Constitution outlines specific conditions, which includes 1. War or external aggression against Nigeria. 2. Imminent danger of invasion or war. 3. A breakdown of public order and safety to such an extent that ordinary legal measures are insufficient. 4. A clear danger to Nigerians' existence. 5. Occurrence of any disaster or natural calamity affecting a state or a part of it. 6. Such other public danger that constitutes a threat to the Federation. The NBA questions whether the political crisis in Rivers State has reached the level of complete breakdown of law and order, warranting the removal of the governor and his administration. Political disagreement, legislative conflict, or executive-legislative tensions do not constitute a justification for emergency rule. Such conflicts should be resolved through legal and constitutional mechanisms, including the judiciary, rather than executive fiat. The purported removal of Governor Fubara, his deputy, and members of Rivers State House of Assembly is therefore unconstitutional, unlawful, and a dangerous affront to our nation's democracy. Furthermore, subsection 2 of section 305 provides that a proclamation issued by the president under this section shall cease to have effect on A, if it is not approved by a resolution of the National Assembly within 2 days when the National Assembly is in session, or B, if the National Assembly is not in session within 10 days after it reconvenes. These provisions provide that a state of emergency declared by the president does not assume automatic validity. It requires legislative ratification within a defined time frame to remain in effect. The NBA therefore emphasized that unless the National Assembly duly approves the proclamation, the declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State remains constitutionally incoherent and ineffective. In light of the foregoing, the National Bar Association affirms that the president does not have the constitutional power to remove an elected governor under a state of emergency. Any such action is an unconstitutional encroachment on democratic governance and the autonomy of the state government. To calls on the National Assembly to reject any unconstitutional attempt to rectify removal of Rivers State Governor and other elected officials. The approval of a state of emergency must be based on strict constitutional grounds, not political expediency. He also warns that suspending elected officials under emergency rule sets a dangerous precedent that undermines democracy and could be misused to unseat elected government in the future. Demands that all actions taken in Rivers State strictly conforms to constitutional provisions and Nigerian democratic norms, and also encourages all stakeholders, including the judiciary, civil society, and international community, to closely monitor the situation in Rivers State to prevent unconstitutional governance and abuse of power. The NBA remains committed to upholding the Constitution, defending democratic governance, and ensuring that the rule of law prevails in Nigeria. A state of emergency is an extraordinary measure that must be invoked strictly within constitutional limits. The removal of elected officials under the pretext of emergency rule is unconstitutional and unacceptable. We call on all relevant authorities to act in accordance with the law and the best interests of the country. Nigerians' democracy must be protected at all costs, and the Constitution must be upheld as the supreme legal authority in all circumstances. And this is coming from President Nigerian Bar Association, that's Mazi Afam Osigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN. Okay, quick one. From the camp of Yeson Wike, that's the pro-Wike supporters, they are saying that there is no need for the National Assembly to sit, being that during the declaration of the state of emergency made by the President Bola Tinubu, that Bola Tinubu had met with the Speaker, House of Rep, and the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and they gave him the nod and the go-ahead. And those two are enough. They are the heads of their various legislative arms. Therefore, they are the go-ahead and they don't need to sit anymore. I do not know if that is what the SAN means, but I believe that Godswill Akpabio cannot sit on his own unanimously and say it is okay. They should deliberate it in the House. And same thing also with the House of Rep, the Green Chamber, the Red and the Green Chamber should deliberate it, because if this continues, APC already is calling for the same measure to be done in Osun State, and those are all PDP states. Before you say who goes there, this is going to be a precedent. We know that once we start something, we don't used to stop. We continue until it becomes a norm. Let's see how it plays out. Let's go.